Hello, possums. Yes, it is I can speak with me. Now, today I want to talk about Chattery, and specifically Chattery in Turtle WoW. Now, as Turtle WoW increases in population, and new players are joining in the community, that's always a great thing for a server to be growing. It is inevitable that there are going to be a few challenges just fitting them in properly. I mean, after all, they're not going to know what tents are, or who the master of tents is. You know, why they're in a guild straight away, because that isn't a normal feature, and you know who the dude in the black clothing is who looks a bit shifty, who offers you just the one life only. Now, for the vast majority of these players, are going to be excited, and they're going to have a highly enjoyable journey through this version of Azeroth. However, there will inevitably, when you have this many new players, be a few people who might have a slightly different agenda to that. And we're talking about ones that like to say controversial things in chat for lulz and just watching the whole thing burn down. So today's video is a gentle reminder to new players about what Turtle WoW is and what you can and cannot do on these certain chat channels on the server. Now, there's nothing too complicated about any of this. Newcomers is the new player guild, so everyone gets put in that, unless they join the hardcore mode guild, which is called Still Alive. And then there is a /world as well, where everyone in the world can have a chat about things, all things Azerothian. Now, they do have one very specific rule to them that is all in common with these guilds and channels, and that is that you're supposed to avoid politics, religion, probably most current affairs, anything that is regarded as controversial by one side or the other of the eternal argument. So, you know, while your opinion on Boris Johnson may be amazing and incisive and no one's ever thought of it before, those three channels in particular are not where you should be sharing your thoughts. It also goes without saying that any kind of hate speech, you know, racism, misogyny, sexism, you know, general threats, that sort of thing, are utterly prohibited on the server, so please, don't even do it for a joke. But the Turtle WoW developers have also given those who wish to dabble in politics and religion and other controversial topics a place to have a chat, you know, sort of away from the world. So if you /join basement, you will go into a separate channel where you can discuss as many politics as you wish. It does go without saying, though, that this is not like a little hidey place away where you can just, you know, go into the whole hate speech thing again. That is just banned across the board. This is for you to indulge things outside of general Azerothian stuffs. So, you know, if you kick off like a war criminal inside a padded cell, you are most likely going to get banned or moderated in some other fashion. I think the important thing to remember is that Turtle WoW is, you know, at its heart an RP server, so, you know, you want to keep those channels, particularly the, you know, the new starters, the hardcore players. They've got their own stuff to be worrying about, and World in particular, it's got to have a more Azerothian feel to it, so, you know, help players out, keep it fun, you know, lore discussions, guild adverts, you know, forming groups, you know, I need to get rid of this elite, how many tents are up at the moment, stuff like that, and of course, you know, a little bit of like trolling and excellent punnage, but, you know, your ideas on what you would do if you were Prime Minister or President, it's just not the channel for that. So if you do see people breaking the chat rules, then by all means report them. You don't have to say report it in chat, because you're probably just going to attract unnecessary attention to yourself anyway, and it's relatively easy to do the reporting itself. Now, most of the time you really just need to do an in-game ticket. Now, this is available on the minibar. And under the question mark, you'll get a box that pops up and it gives you a whole list of things that GMs will and will not intervene on, and then you can create a ticket after that. Now, you do need to specify the date at which this thing is occurring, the hour and the chat channel. When you're using times, please use server time. As it is an international server, don't really need GMs trying to work out what time it was in Portugal on the server. Another important thing is don't make stupid tickets. Don't make malicious tickets, and don't make multiples for the same event, because, you know, you might actually end up being the one that gets the penalty. Now, there are GMs regularly in chat. They do show up and say, you know, could you calm it down a bit or take it to basement? But, you know, they can't be on there all of the time. So, you know, then they do have a lot of other things to do. So, you know, report and or ignore and just move on with your playing. Try to not let it affect you. Now, when it comes to ignoring people, well, you know, sometimes they aren't doing reportable things. They're just annoying. You know, you don't like them. You don't like the way that they say things. You don't like their opinions. You don't like their attitude. That's fine. That's when an ignore is a perfectly valid option. So, you know, to ignore a player is as simple as just typing /ignore and the player name. And it's as simple as that. Now, you do have a limit of 50 for your ignore list, just on the native client, but there are a couple of add-ons that you can actually also use. One of them is called Blacklist, and the other one is called Super Ignore. Now, I haven't tried the latter, but I hear that it's very good. I've used Blacklist a lot on Classic, because, you know, there were quite a disproportionate amount of disruptive types of people on Classic for some reason. And I found it particularly handy because not only can you just ignore as many people as you ever want, but you also get a little box. So you can write what it is, the reason why they got ignored. So, you know, if you're like 4 or 5 months down the line and this guy comes up and he's flagged for you and it actually shows up in the box and tells you, yeah, he's on your blacklist. You can go and look at it and go, oh, that guy. Now, there are a couple of options as well if you do find yourself the subject of moderation. Most people just get muted first time out, unless they've done something completely awful. And, you know, if you've been muted and you still have an account that's functioning, then you can just open an in-game ticket and, you know, place your case as to why you don't think you should have been muted. You can also email help.turtlewow@gmail.com if you have gotten yourself banned. Alternatively, you could create a new account and ping one of the Games Masters in Discord to make your case as well. So, you know, predominantly when it comes to moderation, I do see them in chat. I've seen them moderate things in chat. But, you know, they're not infallible. They will make mistakes because at the end of the day, they are human beings. Thankfully for all of us, they're not automated systems. They don't have any ability for context or separate judgment. It is really, really easy to stay out of trouble with the DMs. You just have to not be a bellend. You know, if you're new to the server, you know, it's probably not a good idea to test how strong the moderation is first out. You know, because if you do get moderated, GMs are not likely to have the time or inclination even to, you know, have a bit of a discussion about, you know, the context of the message that was just meant to be a joke and, you know, you're a snowflake, bro, or whatever. You know, perhaps, just perhaps, it's not a great idea to announce your arrival on the server with a blazing hot take that gets everybody annoyed. Just try saying hello instead. Because at the end of the day, the Turtle Well community is, for the most part, absolutely lovely. And, you know, you can rest assured that, you know, if you encounter people who don't think the rules would apply to them, then you can help the GMs weed them out and keep the server smelling turtle fresh. Anyway, I am off now to level. It is slow but very rewarding going in turtle mode. I am closing in on my piglet companion now. Anyway, until next time, I am the conspicuous moo. And I wouldn't type that if I were you.